When I make my finishing my whips videos, I've been trying, at least lately, to have a theme to go along with it to make it a little bit more intriguing for myself. So in one, I talked more about books, one was more about movies, and this one is nighttime.
What are the themes?
America, irrigation, and nighttime.
It's gonna be, if I'm doing it right, very chill, super lo-fi, and I selected projects that lean away from anything being overstimulating. If you saw my moths video, you'll know that a lot of my knits, all of my knits, are currently in sweater jail. Feel free to watch that video for more details on what I mean by sweater jail. But I've spent the last few months not really having access to any of my knits, and it's been really sad. So I have 2 sweaters and a pair of socks. This first project was originally intended to be a shrug or a bolero. I don't know the difference, but Aurora, the singer, did a collaboration with, is it Jacob Collier and Greenpeace? And I've watched that music video probably 15 times at this point. And I love her like bolero shrug. So I figured I would try making one for myself. And I just wanted to self-draft something really easy. And it's been a while since I've worked on a raglan, and I'm trying to kind of perfect my raglan game, making sure that I can really nail the fit of a raglan. So I started working on one and doing it in a raglan style, and then tried it on once it got to the point of like basically being a shrug and seeing how I felt about it. And I tried it on and it was not the vibe. It feels weird to wear. I don't feel like it goes with a lot of the clothing I have. I don't have like a lot of dresses like that, so a lot of my dresses are actually decently low cut, so it looks really weird. So I don't know if I'm ready to fully give up on the concept of making a shrug, but for now I've decided that I want it to be a full-on sweater, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the body. Something I'm really excited about with this sweater is the neckline and the ribbing around the sleeves, and I'm planning on the bottom hem looking like this too. It's a little different than what I normally do. I've seen this before in a couple different patterns, and I've been wanting to try it for ages. So it's when you do twisted rib, and then you do a couple rounds of stockinette stitch into a normal bind off, and that way you get a rolled hem, but it's like a controlled rolled hem because it stops where the ribbing is, and it's just an interesting look to me. It's different and I really like it. I'm using yarn that I already had in stash because I'm still working on that goal this year to work through my stash, and at the very least, if I don't use up a lot of my yarn, I'm trying to use up yarn that I've had in my bins for years. So this is a superwash merino sweater entirely because I had a huge superwash merino phase, so I have a lot of it to use up. I'm holding 2 strands together, so I'm doing 1 strand of Drops extra fine superwash merino and in their like beige color, and then I'm doing 1 strand of this yarn I got on Amazon like 3 years ago. I'm gonna try to pronounce it. It's Aoyang yarn, hand painted by Heart. Made in China. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, so it's intended to be more of a sock type of yarn. So I'm holding the 2 strands together, and it's been so fun working on projects lately with a bigger gauge, because that is another theme with this very relaxed, chill video, is working on projects with a larger needle size. I normally hover between like a 3.5 and a 4.5 millimeter needle. My plan for this sweater is just to like finish it up. I think I could easily finish this in a couple days. I'm debating doing bust shaping. It's something I don't do very often, and I think I should do it just to practice, just a tiny bit. With this style of sweater, I don't need a lot of bust shaping happening, but I think I just want to practice it, so I might do just a tiny bit. I'll think about it, but I'm gonna get started seeing if I can get this finished in the next like 2-3 days. Okay, I thought about it, and I think I should do some bust shaping just to kind of play around with it, just a teensy bit. I think I'm gonna do a shadow wrap short row, and I'm just gonna do a couple rows. This being the front panel, I'm going to go all the way across, and then I think I'll go back to where this raglan seam is, do the same over here, and then maybe do one more from like here to here, like 6 or so stitches away from this raglan seam, and that'll be it, and then I'll go back in the round. So it's been a day. I mean that literally, like it's been a day. It's not like, oh, it's been such a day. I've had a good day, and I'm like almost done with the body. All right, let me try it on for you because I'm almost done. It looks really short, but I promise I am almost done. Yeah, I'm definitely close to being done with this just because I like things cropped, and I haven't blocked it yet, so it's definitely going to be growing. And I still need to add the ribbing at the bottom, so that'll probably add like an inch, inch and a half to the bottom here. So it'll definitely hang lower, and then you can also see the effects of the bust shaping has made this a pretty even like rise for the front and the back. It's hard to tell because it's all rolled up, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I really want to wear this. All of my sweaters are in storage. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, it's summer. I'm not going to wear sweaters that much. I may as well pack it all up for the season because of the moth situation. Look at me now, like whimpering over the fact that I might just have a sweater. They're just so cozy. Nothing else in my closet can replicate it. The feeling of wearing a sweater. Also, between the haircut and the shirt, the like men's oversized thrift store cotton shirt that I am absolutely obsessed with right now. Between these two things, I feel like I belong in a 90s rom-com. This is the 90s rom-com outfit I have always been aiming for. I have achieved it, and now I may ascend to the rom-com universe. Send me in, please. But if this was a rom-com, I also wouldn't get to stay together with my husband, because it's a rom-com, if I'm the main character at least. Because that's not interesting plot-wise. If you like somebody at the beginning of the movie and you like them at the end of the movie, not much has changed. Not very interesting. I could be the best friend. No. You're menacing. I don't trust her with a TV. No one should. Look at her blending in. All right, we're going to see if I can finish the sweater tonight. Also, if I haven't mentioned it, I have every step that I did here listed in my notes on Ravelry, like even down to how many stitches I cast on with. It's not quite polished to the point of being a pattern, but if somebody wanted to see the exact steps I did, you could do the same thing. I really don't trust her. She's going to do something. She's up to no good. Something I should mention before I forget is with this sweater, I have been doing twisted rib, but I've been doing like the alternating twisted rib where you twist the knit stitches but do the purl stitches like regular. That's because regular twisted rib can be really tight and it doesn't stretch quite as well as just straight up regular rib. And when you do the twisted knit stitches and the regular purl stitches, you still get the look of twisted rib without it being quite as tight. Although sometimes I really do just like regular twisted ribs. So that's usually what I end up doing. But for this one, I wanted a little bit more stretch. Also, I'm binge watching SpongeBob, and I posted a video today, so I'm keeping an eye on that.
Don't wanna sleep tonight at all. Just wanna watch them stars fall. But you don't wanna try to make up dreams just to be seen. I wanna lay here beside you, all quiet. Fire breath and open sky. It's not what we know, it's where we go. I grow wings and tell her goodbye.
I finished the sweater, and it's comfortable and perfect. It was a win all around. I'm so happy to have this completed. And because I'm me, and I'm highly motivated sometimes, and I need to act on that motivation when it does come, I'm ready to move on to the next project. I am very sleepy. The next project is what I've been calling, I think, the Midnight Forest sweater. Pretty quickly into working up this project, I knew that it wasn't something I would be wearing just because I don't wear a lot of black and brown in my closet. But I still wanted to work on it. I was still interested in making it. I don't know if you've been there, right? You have those moments where you're like, I really want to make this. I don't want to keep it. I have no use for this, but I still want to make it. And my older sister was the first person to proclaim interest in said sweater. So now I am making it for her. She sent me in her dimensions for what she wants the sweater to be because I was luckily at the point in the sweater where I had been doing the yoke, and it's a raglan sweater. So it's a really easy point of the project to either continue and make it grow and get bigger or adjust it to be a little bit smaller. I figure I should get working on it while I'm still motivated to do so. I'm also not entirely sure I'm going to have enough yarn to finish it. so I might need to order a little bit more. The main thing I was trying to accomplish with this sweater is doing a fade when you have different colors of yarn that are not pre-faded, and working at a larger gauge and just playing around with that. Definitely learned a lot, but I'm not done with the faded portion yet, because right now there's a pretty harsh line in some of the transitions from color to color, and I want to make those lines a little bit less harsh by going in and duplicate stitching in some of the beige yarn, kind of sprinkle it throughout the brown, and hopefully make that a slightly more fadey transition and breaking up the harsh line. This feels really soft. I don't know what it is with this greigey color, but it's the least itchy and the softest, I think, of all the drops air yarn that I've tried in the past. Isn't it funny how certain yarns like that, like different colors have different properties? The world of fading is definitely something I want to dive more into. I find it visually fascinating. I haven't done any sort of research in techniques around fading and how to approach it aside from just using a faded yarn. So that's definitely something that I want to look into. Please let me know if you have any recommendations for designers, patterns, books, videos, channels, anything with someone who approaches fading from a more technical standpoint and explains their approach to it. I found that that's one of my favorite ways to learn with knitting, is to try something first and guess how I think it would be done, and then look up how to do it afterwards. So this is my take on fading based on looking at pictures of faded sweaters and guessing how they did it. Hey Mary, are you getting up from your nap? It's food time. Fun fact about my cats, they eat together. They always eat together. They shove both of their tiny little faces in the food bowl and they sit side by side while they're eating. All right, let's see if my microphone cooperates, because lately I've been having an issue. Not lately, this has been happening for ages. There's an interference issue. I think it's due to the Wi-Fi in my router. So there's this crackling noise when I talk and it's really annoying. I've had to refilm a lot of stuff because I can't stand the sound. But sometimes I'm like, I've recorded this 3 times in different locations. I'm still having the crackling sound. I'm just going to keep it in. That's not what this is about. You don't need to hear me complaining. Before we judge this, I'm going to give a progress report, but just know there's a lot of work to be done on this sweater. And also keep in mind, it is not being designed for my body. So I'm making this for my sister. I have several sisters. This is for my older sister. I still need to go in and do the speckling. Right now it's a really harsh line here. I'm not super about that. I want to make the speckling more interesting. I will talk more about that later. But for now, my main focus is I just want to finish the sweater and then I'm going to go in and add the speckling later. So I think I'm going to power through and try to get it done. I've actually done most of the body in like a day and a half. I really just powered through it, and I'm using huge needles. So that's really helping the process go by faster. I still need to do about 6 more inches on the body of the sweater, and it's really weird knitting for someone that has a much longer torso than me. I am by far the shortest in my family, and we're not all biologically related, so we all have very different body types. But on top of being the shortest person, I also have the shortest torso in proportion to my body. Working on a sweater for someone that has like, a more maybe normal human torso. She probably even has longer than an average torso. Or just likes really long sweaters. Anyways, I confirmed the link with her. I'm going to check in with you when I'm done knitting the physical sweater and talk more about how I'm going to make this fade hopefully look a little bit better. It's one of those trust the process kind of moments. There are no built-in lights for my living room, so the only lights in here is mood lighting currently. And for ages, I've actually wanted a light in here enough so I could actually read if I wanted to. So I finally got a light and I love it. Remember how my last finishing my whips video was all colors? This one is all beige. That was kind of on purpose. I separated all my projects into the colorful ones versus the neutral ones, divided them each into their own videos. So I finished the body of this and most of one sleeve and ran out of yarn. And here's the deal. I would love to buy the yarn and get it shipped right away and finish the sweater and put it in this video. But I've been trying that and it's been a month. It's been a month, literally, since my last update. And I know it's going to be several more months potentially until I can get more yarn for this project. I currently have multiple other projects. If you saw me decluttering my closet, I have a lot of sweaters that need adjusting, and for some of them I need to buy more yarn, and most of it is Drops yarn, as is this from the brand Drops. It just makes more sense and is more responsible for me to get to a finishing point on all of those projects, or like essentially run out of yarn on all those projects and then buy more yarn all at once. So I'm going to be responsible and do that, which means this is going to be set aside. This feels really, really soft today. You know, some days things just feel softer. My goal is to have this done by Thanksgiving, and I want to have all the other sweaters done by Thanksgiving. Oof. So I need to really get cracking on the other ones so that I can order yarn soon. I'll let go of some of the pressure. It's okay if this isn't done at Thanksgiving. That's just more convenient for me to like not have to ship everything over. But if I end up being really stressed trying to get stuff done and working way faster than I want to, then I just will wait and I'll pay for the shipping. I'm going to do a little bit of the fading, but like I said, I ran out of yarn, so there's only so much I can do. In essence, I think the main issue with this fade is that the colors are not close enough. Like these colors are not close enough, because if you look here, the fade looks really good up until here. And this is 3 different colors of yarn that have been faded together, and it's because they look really similar, especially this dark brown here and this like chestnut brown. So I think the fade works really well, but there was no colors they had available in between this like beige color and the brown. I'm fairly certain with fading, like all things in knitting, there is no one right way to do it. There are probably so many different techniques. Buying faded yarn, specifically buying certain colors and doing a really close in color type of fade, doing a more transition-y stripey fade. I'm sure there's some stranded color work you can do. But for this, it's a mixture of doing the striped fading. It's just harder because it's a larger gauge, so you are not able to fit in as many lines vertically. It's transitioning very quickly. And then I'm pairing that with duplicate stitch. And that's the next step, is adding in some duplicate stitch to hopefully make that fade look better transition wise. I think I'm almost completely out of this beige yarn, so I won't be able to do too much duplicate stitch, but I'm gonna try to do a little bit on the black and a little bit with the brown. I only did fading on this side, this half of the front panel. I have not done fading on pretty much anything else, except for the black. It just takes such a long time to do the duplicate stitch. So I still have a bunch left to do, but I've got to wait until I get more yarn. So this is done for now. I hope it fits her and I hope she likes it, but if she doesn't, that is totally okay. And she can just give it to someone else or donate it or give it to a stray cat. Lots of options. I made this bandana yesterday. I wanted a quick, fun crochet project and realized it's been a while since I've had a non-YouTube project. I have been putting pretty much everything I've been doing on YouTube for months, all year maybe. Not a lot of background projects going on. So I just wanted to do something that didn't get put on YouTube. So this is it. It's a bandana because I made a white one, but I lost it. Having a bandana has been so nice for keeping my hair out of my face. And I'm working on another one for my friend in like a navy blue, which you also don't get to see because this is a non-YouTube project. Shouldn't even be telling you about it. Don't tell anyone I told you. Don't. Okay. I think I have one more project. I set a bounce board up to help with lighting, and the cats are just having a fantastic time with it. It's not at all pointing where I was hoping it would, but they're having a great time, and that's what's important. Don't tell my husband, but I stole his hoodie. I don't really wear his clothes very often. I might steal the occasional t-shirt if I find that he's not wearing it very often because I like wearing them to bed. But I've never stolen one of his hoodies before, and it's making me think that I need to get a triple XL hoodie. It is so comfortable. It goes down to my knees and I feel adorable. All right, let's introduce the next project. For now, ignore all the stitch markers on this. I'm working on a pair of socks. All my socks are currently also in jail along with my sweaters, and I would love to have a pair of socks on hand. I visited family in Minnesota for a couple days on a surprise trip, and I told myself I wasn't going to bring any projects with me, but I kind of wanted something to do while I waited in the airport. So I decided I wanted to do socks, and I normally am not a huge fan of knitting socks. I find them to be really tedious. They tend to hurt my hands, and they always take longer than I think they will. But I almost always use like a 2mm or 2.25mm needle when I'm doing socks. So I wanted to try doing a pair of socks using a larger needle size. And I also wanted to use up this yarn that I've had for ages. I'm so blanking on the name. This is a yarn that I will have on screen by Sendness Garn. And I know someone's going to say, you shouldn't use that for socks. It's not meant for that. I know. I'm making these choices consciously. I bought this yarn just because I heard so many people talking about it and I was curious and immediately touched it and was like, nope, that's not going to be anything I put on my body. Like, no hat, no mittens, not a sweater. This cannot. No, but my feet aren't particularly sensitive. I've already talked about my feet more than I probably should on the internet. So I'm like, okay, great. I will just use this for a pair of socks. That's fun. I could use like white, tweedy, speckly yarn for socks. It's just like a cute winter cabin sock, you know? And I've been loving this so much. What needle size am I using? Yeah, I'm using a 3.75mm needle, and these socks are going so fast. I could easily do one of these in a day if I just was really motivated, and normally socks take me a lot longer than that. So I'm just at the phase where I'm like literally so close to finishing this up. I just need to do the toe. I'm just started doing the decreases for the toe for this second sock. It's getting pretty late. It's 10:30 p.m. and I am not someone that likes staying up super late. So I'm gonna go to bed pretty soon, but I think I'll try and work on these a little bit, but I'm just gonna try and finish them tomorrow. And when I'm done, I will explain why I have so many different colors of stitch markers on this, because there is a reason, and it's an interesting reason to me. I am really excited to wear them and see how I like the feel of this compared to my thinner, smaller gauge socks. But if I end up really liking wearing these, I am totally going to be making more socks. I'm just going to be using like a 3.5 or 3.75mm needle to make them. Oh, and I am also holding this double. So I'm not just using this yarn. I'm also using the yarn I talked about with actually I have it here, with my sweater that I made earlier in the video. I still have some of that yarn left over, so I've been using that to work on the socks. And I'm using it because there's nylon content in it. It's 25% nylon, and that's hopefully going to make these socks a little bit more robust so that they don't just suffer when I wear them, because this is not meant to be socks, this yarn. It's gonna wear through. I understand that. So I'm trying to beef it up a little bit. But I'm also totally comfortable darning socks, so I'm not entirely bothered by the fact that I could wear through this a lot. And watching Summer Lee's YouTube channel, it just makes me want to make 1,000,000 pairs of socks so that they all last forever, because I have 1,000,000 pairs of socks. All right, I'm going to work on this and then I'm going to head to bed. I've been helping a friend move over the past few days, so I am feeling a little extra sleepy, though probably not as sleepy as her, because she has been working really hard. Moving, not easy. Oh, hi, Pippin. You scared me. Of course you're gonna pop up just at the end here. So Pippin, do you want to tell the people how you feel about nighttime? Any strong opinions? Pippin's evening routine is pretty simple as of late. She likes to switch it up every once in a while, but when she picks an evening routine, she sticks with it for a couple weeks. Lately, she's been just an aggressive cuddler. Like, no amount of cuddling is enough for her. She needs full contact and active pets when I'm trying to sleep. So that's been fun to navigate, but also, what a good problem to have. Oh no, my cat loves me too much. But it's okay, because I also love her too much. I'm wondering if I should talk about nighttime in this video. I don't feel like I need to talk about nighttime. It just is nighttime. That's the beauty of these themes. They allow some flexibility, but it's a nice little, it's a guidance for me when I'm making these videos. So if you have any recommendations or requests for future Finishing My Whips themes, any topics you think would be interesting to have covered, I could talk about journaling or do one about like spending time outside. It could be really specific and I could just talk about apples. I don't know how to interpret that. Maybe I'd knit a sweater with apples on it and talk about my favorite variety of apples. It's been a while since I've had an apples taste test. Maybe I should go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of different types. I do love a classic Honeycrisp. I need my apples to be... I think I could make a video focusing on the subject of apples. I have opinions. I could talk a lot about apples, evidently. You know what? Orchard season is coming up. I could go to an apple orchard, make apple pie. Am I really selling myself on this? I make no promises, but I might make an apple-themed finishing my whips video. If you have any requests for random topics, please put them down below. I will read them and I will consider them. The more specific and random, the better. Unsurprisingly, the socks were incredibly fast to finish. Such a large gauge makes a huge difference. Who would have saw this coming? She says, dripping in sarcasm. Now I think it's appropriate to explain the purpose of all of these stitch markers. These are all the problem areas on the sock. The tip of the big toe is too pointy, there's gapping along the toe ridge line, there's far too much stretching happening on the top of the foot, as well as along the sides here. And on the back of the heel, the ribbing is stretched out too far and it's too short. There's a lot of gapping happening along the heel flap gusset portion, which could certainly be improved. And when I stand up, the socks have this wrinkling happening just along the front portion of the sock. So what I'm hoping to do in the future, and when I say future, you know, it could be a week, it could be a year, I would like to reattempt these socks. I have plenty more of this yarn and I would like to reattempt them and fix all of the problem areas. It's something I've been trying to do with my knitting more and more often. Of course, it does take some amount of mental energy and sometimes I just want to turn my brain off and enjoy knitting for the sake of knitting. But in some cases like this, I would like to learn how to make the perfect sock at this gauge. What does a plain vanilla stockinette sock look like for me when it has reached a point of perfection? I use the term perfection loosely. For now, these socks are perfectly wearable, they're comfortable, and this is extremely nitpicky, which is kind of what makes it fun. Is it possible to fix all of these issues? How much effort would that take? If I actually move forward with doing it, I feel like I would just unravel this pair and turn them into, I don't know, leg warmers or something. I suppose they could be a fun pair of mittens. I don't have any white speckly mittens. But I am proud of how these socks came out, especially for something just so quick, so simple, being worked up mostly on an airplane. Although I don't know about you, I find it incredibly difficult to knit on an airplane. My elbows poke out too much. So knitting on an airplane isn't really fun after all. But, you know, socks happened, which is always very fun. It was kind of nice working on more simple projects for a video, especially leaning into the let's take all the color away, let's do it at night. Turned out to be a little bit more difficult than expected. I guess I didn't think about it in advance. But the fun part about filming this in the peak of summer is I did not think very hard about it. I had to wait until after the sun went down to actually record anything, which means I was very tired. And that's why it took so long for this video to come out, is because I had to wait for evenings where I had a little bit more energy. Anyways, that is it. Thank you for joining me on my adventures, and I shall see you maybe next week. I don't know. I like to keep you guessing.